Hey, we locked in today. We locked in. 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 Where my moderators at? My moderators at? My mods in the chest, not ye. Yo, no limit. Oh, what's good? My nigga Twin Flow. Tony was good. M7. Shooter. DA Shooter with the Ruger. Ramfy G Fully was good.
What's going on? In this video, I'm going to be showing you everything that's inside this bag. Spoilers, there's some hacking tools in here with some pen testing tools, some Wi-Fi hacking tools, and some really cheap, effective things in here that you could pretty much either make yourself, and I'm going to show you some really expensive things that I have in here. Very good things to start your cybersecurity journey. And one thing I've learned is that you just dive into cybersecurity. A lot of things you can learn hands-on, and I'm going to show you some of the tools that might help you learn. All right, so in this video, I'm going to put all the things from cheapest to most expensive. And the first things I'm going to bring up here are the flash drives. Flash drives are fairly cheap. I think you can get all of these. I think I got 8 of these for maybe 10 to 15 bucks on Amazon. And online is a lot of free stuff. You can download Kali Linux. I definitely advise you to get Kali Linux if you're a beginner, because there's a lot of things you can learn on Kali. This one has this OS on an old computer. This has the installation stuff already ready to go. This is a really cool hacking tool. This is Kali Live. I plug this in anywhere, boot off of this, and it'll save my settings and files on here. So I can pretty much use someone else's computer, plug this guy in. This is, again, fairly cheap because you can just get this stuff free off the line, the OS. You just pick which one you want. And then having a Windows install is always, the password and stuff too, and you need to get into it, or somebody hands you a computer and it's yours, they want to give it to you, but they don't know the password stuff, it's locked. This is just install Windows 10 all over again, and you're pretty much good to go. So this is the best, cheapest way to get started. Definitely the Kali Linux way and the live boot. I'll be making videos explaining this later on, so make sure you hit that subscribe button on my channel. But this is going to be the cheapest way to start, is getting some USBs and playing around with live boots, and definitely Kali Linux. This is probably the best free, almost free stuff that you can start with, is these guys right here. So the next level up is going to be these Raspberry Pis. This one is a Raspberry Pi 0W. This one can connect to Wi-Fi and stuff like that. And this one right here is a Pico. These both are basically bad USBs. This one is just, you can plug this guy in if you program it. There's a lot of free stuff online on GitHub that turn this into a bad USB. And this is only, I think, $8 for this. If you were to buy a bad USB,
When I started Walton Goggins Goggle Glasses, I needed a website. Figuring out how to make one was pretty hard on the old noggin.
What's going on? In this video, I'm going to be showing you everything that's inside this bag. Spoilers, there's some hacking tools, some really cheap, effective things in here that you could pretty much either make yourself, and I'm going to show you some really expensive things that I have in here. Very good things to start your cybersecurity journey. And one thing I've learned is that you just dive into cybersecurity. A lot of things you can learn hands-on, and I'm going to show you some of the tools that might help you learn. All right, so in this video, I'm going to put all the things from cheapest to most. The flash drives. Flash drives are fairly cheap. I think you can get all of these. I think I got 8 of these for maybe 10 to 15 bucks on Amazon. And advise you to get Kali Linux if you're a beginner, because there's a lot of things you can learn on Kali. This one has the install version of Kali. So if you take a computer and install this OS on an old computer, this has the installation stuff already ready to go. This is a really cool hacking tool. This is Kali Live with persistence, which means that this little guy is basically a mini computer. I plug this in anywhere, boot off of this, and it'll save my settings and files on here, and we're able to use it as if it's your own. This is, again, fairly cheap because you can just get this stuff free off the line, the OS. You just pick which one you want. And then having a Windows install is always good because if you get an old computer you don't know the password and stuff to, and you need to get into it, or somebody hands you a computer and it's yours, they want to give it to you, but they don't know the password stuff, it's locked. This is just install Windows 10 all over again, and you're pretty much good to go. So this is like the best, cheapest way to get started. Definitely the Kali Linux way and the live boot. I'll be making videos explaining this later on, so make sure you hit that subscribe button on my channel. But this is going to be the cheapest way to start, is getting some USBs and playing around with live boots, and definitely Kali Linux. This is probably the best free, almost free stuff that you can start with is these guys right here. So the next level up is going to be these Raspberry Pis. This one is a Raspberry Pi 0W. This one can connect to Wi-Fi and stuff like that. And this one right here is a Pico. These both are basically bad USBs. This one is just, you can plug this guy in if you program it. There's a lot of free stuff online on GitHub that turn this into a bad USB. And this is only, I think, $8 for this. If you were to buy a bad USB or a rubber ducky off of a Hack 5, it's like $80 to $90, I believe now. But you can get one for only like $8 right here. Now this one is about $25 because it has the Wi-Fi capability built into it, and I did this battery modification to it. So this way I could turn this on. There's a little switch. Now this thing's live. I can connect to this on my phone, and I can install payloads on this guy. Then when I get to a destination computer or one I'm working on or doing pen testing on, I just plug it into the computer and walk away, and I can pretty much, as long as I got Wi-Fi range, I can send payloads and do damage to whatever device it is. So this altogether costed me probably, you don't need the battery bank. I only like it because I can do editing on the fly. Just the top part, the Raspberry Pi 0W, it runs you about $25. So now you're going from like $10 or so to $25 and then a bit more. But this guy, if you could program it right, make sure you have Windows 10 because 11 doesn't really work too well when you're trying to install this stuff. This is the way to go. This is a bad USB. So basically, this plugs into your computer. You connect without any signing in or any kind of like security measure, and you can pretty much do whatever you want. It types of lines of code and superhuman speeds, and you can do a lot of damage doing that. So. But again, very good tool, and I built this one myself. I'm going to leave the link in the description for this guy and how to do it. I also have a video on my channel about this device too, how great it is. Definitely a great beginner stuff because if you break it, it's cheap, and instead of buying a really expensive bad USB, you can make your own. And you learn by making it on your own. So just like that, doing things yourself, that's how you learn with the cybersecurity stuff. And in my journey, this is what I found best, is playing around with things, breaking things is the best way to learn. All right, so that's the second step. Let's move on to the third one. All right, so now we're moving up here with a little bit of money now. So this is about, I believe, $70 to $80. This is you to plug this in a computer. So if you have an old computer with a bad Wi-Fi that networks at 1.4 gigahertz, network 7, this device allows you to listen to all of those and do packet injection as well as monitoring, because not a lot of cards support those modes. Wi-Fi cards support those modes, so you're going to need this if you want to be doing some Wi-Fi penetration testing. So like this would go hand in hand with the Kali Linux because this device works. This one in particular works really well with Kali and the drivers. I had some issues with it getting to work with Windows 11. I'm still looking into, but I know it works on Windows 10 pretty well and definitely works on Kali Linux. This is the one they recommend for Kali Linux, and I'll put that link in the description as well. So now you're getting up to speed here. So you're going from bad USB to OSs that have a lot of hacking tools built into it already, and now you're getting into the more finite stuff. Now I like personally the Wi-Fi hacking and the Wi-Fi penetration. It's so hard for me to say that. Testing with this guy. I'm be making more videos about this stuff later on, but I wanted to show you my starter kit here of the stuff I have as we advance through this channel. So this is where I'm at with this. Let's move on to the fourth one. All right, so this guy right here is a watch, but it's a Wi-Fi hacking watch. This is a D-Author. I did some modifications to this guy myself. I ended up taking this guy apart, and I installed a Wi-Fi antenna because the range on this is pretty bad. But now it's gonna be. I can't really wear it now because I have this long antenna that's attached to it. But basically, this has a lot of hacking tools already built into it. So this is like a mini computer in your hand, only designed for Wi-Fi hacking. You can do, you can connect to your phone. It gives you a little bit more functionality with this guy, but off just wearing it on your wrist. You can do things like deauthentication packets. You can basically kick people off a network. You can scan networks. You can see what Wi-Fi channels people are using. This thing has a lot of good Wi-Fi tools just already ready to go. So, and I'll make a video on this guy breaking deeper into it now that I did the modification so I can get better range and stuff with it. But this is good. This is about, I think, $80 to $90. So it's close to similar in price here. But if you're looking into like a device that you want to get into Wi-Fi penetration testing and you want to understand how the stuff works, this is a great tool to start with. This one, again, the way it works when it sends a deauthentication packet, it kicks somebody off a network. Again, you got to be very careful because, this, again, all this stuff is for educational purposes only. Jamming and kicking people off the internet is highly illegal. It could be dangerous, especially ones that you have either A, full control over, or B, you have given permission to do this stuff to. Don't do this to your neighbor, etc. This is only for educational purposes. And again, this watch is a great like beginner Wi-Fi penetration testing tool. So, and then they have one they call like a Wi-Fi Nugget. It's just like this device, but a little bit more like portable in your hands. That one's a really cool one, but I ended up getting the watch because I always thought it's cool to have devices you can wear that kind of like blend in, that people wouldn't think twice of. So, all right, we'll break into that one more in another video, but now we're getting up to the big boys here. All right, now that brings me to my Flipper Zero. Now this is probably the most fun device I have because it just has so much built into it in a small package. So the Flipper Zero is great because it can do this can do a lot. This could be a bad USB. This could do Bluetooth hacking. It has app. You have the bad USB. You can scan the keys, open garage doors. You could turn your TV on and off, any TV on and off, really. This thing has it has an infrared stuff reader and writer. Let's see, you got sub-gigahertz remote. It doesn't do Wi-Fi stuff, but you can buy a module, which I have, but my dad's doing some soldering on it right now because I'm trying to do some custom things. You can do Wi-Fi, just like this. It has all the capabilities of basically this. And pretty much do this too, but in your pocket, this is great because you can your work key, like one of those like cards you scan to get into a door. This can do that too. You can write cards too. You can Bluetooth hack, jam. Again, in controlled environments. This is a learning tool, but this thing can do a lot. I would highly recommend looking into this more. I'll be making more videos to come about this guy, but this is like the Swiss Army knife of like hacking things because it has everything in your hand. It doesn't do one thing super well. It just does a bunch of things pretty good, and it fits in your pocket. So like this is the one you would take with you to go everywhere if you want to go somewhere. This one's about $170. So this is expensive, but you get so much in your hands. You can charge it USB Type-C. Keychain there. Again, it has it has more things you can add to it to make it even cooler. I ended up putting a case on it just because it's in my pocket a lot. I don't want to scratch it up too much. I put a screen protector on it. So really, this is probably like almost $200 altogether. But this is a great beginning tool because it can do so much. You can put bad USB payloads on it. You can send bad USB stuff through Bluetooth, so you don't have to be plugged into a computer. You just be near a computer. You can control their mouse. Do all kinds of cool, fun things. Again, the Flipper Zero, I would definitely look this up. I'll put the link in the description as well for this one. If it's illegal in your country, there's some countries that this guy's not illegal in. Last year, you weren't able to get this back in 2022 in America. They banned the shipments of these things. But now you can get them. I was lucky to get one this year because they probably won't be around for that much longer because how dangerous these things can be. But again, great learning tool. I was able to break into my garage door with this too. So very, very cool tool. And this one's modified. This has a Unleashed firmware on it. This stuff you can get on the internet. There's on GitHub, there's different softwares you can put on this to make it even more powerful. The Flipper Zero is probably one of the coolest tools I have. The next one's going to be probably my favorite because of I'm more into Wi-Fi penetration testing. Oh my god. The next one I'm going to show you is definitely let me just cut that all out. But again, this is the Flipper Zero. I highly recommend getting this guy because it can just do so much. It does a little bit of everything, and you can find out what you like with this. Like, if you want to do bad USB, they're hacking just TVs and remotes, etc. Like, this is a really good beginner device. I highly recommend it because you can play around with this, you can break it, you can rebuild it. There's a lot you can do with this. Again, Flipper Zero, about 100, I think like almost $200 for this guy, especially with all the little add-ons and stuff after you get done with it. This one here is this Wi-Fi Pineapple Mach 7 Tactical. So this guy right here has a really cool GUI. Very simple to set up. You plug it in, you do the update, you remote into it, and once you get into this guy, you could do tons of Wi-Fi penetration testing stuff. This thing has a lot of stuff pre-built. You do the deauthentication, you can look up networks, you can clone networks, you can do bad portals, evil twin. I mean, this thing has pretty much every Wi-Fi capable hacking tool built into it. And the cool thing is that there's an enterprise model. This is like, they have a really cheap version, but it's really hard to get. And this one's like the mid-range Wi-Fi hacking tool from Hack5. Then they have an enterprise model. But the enterprise model runs the same software as this model. So if you want to learn and start off, this is a great guide. So keep in mind that this is the tactical version. So this one has, this device alone will do Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz networks. And this adapter right here, this adapter just unplugged. This one makes it so I can do Wi-Fi 5 networks. So the 5 gigahertz networks, that's what this one can do. So as soon as I plug that in, there's no added things I got to do. It recognizes it. And then instead of scanning 2.4, it'll scan both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz networks. And it's just easy as plugging it in, and boom, I'm ready to go. So again, easy to, nice and light and portable version here, and it comes with the bag. That's where I got this whole goodie bag here. That's where I put all my tools in. I love this carry bag. It's so convenient. Again, this is the tool I use pretty much the most. I'm having a hard time making videos for this because I got to find a way to do it without like showing other people's networks. I got to blur out a lot. So I'm working on making videos on this. I just got to figure out how to do it and how to show things without showing too much, if that makes any sense, to get into, because this is more like professional use. This is more like a toy. This is like somewhere in between because it's more professional use. So if you want to get into the field, this is definitely probably one of the best tools to get into. Even this mixed with Kali Linux or using something like Wireshark, like using it to look at packets, and you can even like take Wi-Fi passwords. So this could capture a three-way handshake, and then it could, once it gets that handshake, it could try to break the hash off, and you bring that hash to Kali Linux and have it go through some kind of password cracking or hash cracking software, and then you got the password to get into the Wi-Fi. But you have bad portals. There's a lot of things you can do. There's so much you can do. Like, this has so much that so many things you can learn on it. So I know I'm rambling a little bit, but like, I'm trying to go right off the cuff here, because again, I'm also learning cybersecurity too. But I figure like while I'm learning it and doing my adventure, maybe I can help somebody else. Because again, into a network, everything's going to be on a computer. It's just the way it's going to be. Now, AI is coming for a lot of technical jobs, but there's a lot of things that AI can't catch, and AI is needs to be monitored for even in the beginning. So we're still going to need the human touch for a couple things. But knowing basic security tools and what to look out for is what's going to separate you from somebody that loses their job later on, someone that will have another job. So once the thing with cybersecurity too, I've heard, even from professionals, I'm not a professional, but I heard from professionals that you got to have these kind of projects. So me building this guy right here on my own was a great learning experience, and it was a cybersecurity project. All this stuff is cybersecurity learning, and I have a little bit of everything here, and it helps me grow every day. So I learn something new. I break something. Same thing with this guy. So it's just this is what's in my bag. I highly recommend just going for it. Don't say to yourself, "Oh, it's not worth it. I don't need to get into the cybersecurity stuff," or "I'm just worried about doing it." Just go and do it. It's fun. It really is fun. Just be safe about it. Just do it the right way. Don't hack your neighbor's just computer like I had. I got a whole bunch of old computer. A bad thing. I even did with this watch in particular. I ended up hacking into my Ring doorbell, and I took my package and I went inside and I turned it off, and I ended up, you saw nothing. Like on the camera feed, it just went blacked out, and the package just disappeared. No one knew. Like you can learn about stuff like that. Now I'm more aware. Okay, so I maybe shouldn't have my Ring doorbell on a 2.4 gigahertz network, because it's cheap devices like this could just easily do that. Like if I had it on a 5 or 6 gigahertz network, that wouldn't have happened. This device wouldn't be able to affect that at all. So like there's things like that you learn. Like, all right, so now I know I could tell somebody it's more safer to use a doorbell with a 5 or 6 Wi-Fi 6 or 7 connection because of that safety loophole when it comes to these devices. But anyway, let's get back to the ending here. Cheapest, you go from below $10 to about etc. You just get a USB and get some of the free stuff online. You start working on your own projects here with the Raspberry Pi Zeros, the Wi-Fi adapter. Now you're getting up to almost $100. Now this is pretty much about $100, $80, $90 for this watch. Knife of hacking, I can fit in your pocket, and I think this is fun because you can learn a lot about the bad USBs. You could even put the Ducky script stuff on this. It just works. This is just a really good tool to start. Like if I had to be somewhere between getting these two devices here, I would probably shoot for this guy more, because again, this is more like playing around. You can make a bad USB for dirt cheap, right? You could even probably do something with those, but this is the easier way to make the bad USBs. You don't technically need this, but when it comes to Wi-Fi stuff, this is pretty cool, and this is like more of a fun project like this one. I modified this to get more range and stuff, but again,
just give me one moment. So I'm starting the live stream again. Let me just put this in so I can actually see what I'm looking at. Just give me a second. Now, okay. What I want to see. First of all, I want to see if it's running the live stream again. Brilliant. So it works. That's good. Just want to make sure that's working. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Okay. Should we play some non-copyright music? I think so. We're gonna play some non-copyright. It's kind of difficult to find non-copyright music. It's, I don't know. Sorry for the chair, by the way. It's pretty squeaky. Hello to everyone watching the live stream. Go ahead and comment something in the live chat. Just say hello so I know that people are watching. working. Let me just find some music real quick before I get copyright strikes. You see? Okay, so I found one, which looks like it'll be fine if I play this. I'll add it. Please check how to use to protect the I'll be fine. Alright, let's get this live stream running. How's everyone doing, by the way? Alright, okay, what I want to just do quickly for people who don't know who I am, who actually found my channel, my name is Declan, and I actually focus on web application security. I like to focus on website vulnerabilities. Like I can go through a whole list, which I don't really want to do, but that would be like XSS, cross-site scripting vulnerabilities, XSS, stored XSS, everything to do with some sort of injection on a website. That's what I'm pretty good at. Excuse me. Hey, welcome Clocks. How's it going? By the way, are you in my Discord community? I just want to make sure that you are. What's your Discord username? I'm on a call with homie, but it's a live stream. I really appreciate it. Where is the music go? I'll play that on loop. Oh. Your Discord username is. Oh, are you the guy in the chat with the vulnerability? All right, so for everyone wondering, so what is today's live stream all about? What's the purpose of today's live stream? The purpose of today's live stream is actually check out my tool that I built. Oh, the cat dude. Okay, so that's you. Okay, now I know. Okay, so what is this website, Declan? What are you talking about? So if you actually go to this URL, so if I open up my terminal, I just want to show you here. So if you go to clonex.com, so it's called Clonex. And by the way, how's the quality? Is it good? But anyways, if you type this out onto your browser, clonex.com, you will actually be visited by this. And by the way, it doesn't matter if you do capitals. I just do capitals there. But if you go to clonex.com, it will lead you to my tool, my website-based tool which I made for security research. Security researching, penetration testing, this is a tool that I made. It's basically a payload generator, but there's a lot of features which have been added into this. And also there's there's a lot of things that I need to fix as well, but it's still pretty cool. I told my buddy about your tool, it's really good, and I guess I can use it if a program has XSS in its scope. So I definitely dig this. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's not a shell selection here, you can actually select Windows based payloads here versus TCP. I mean, you can even add and it'll automatically update it here in the payload generator, which is very nice. I think that was very nice to add as well. Just these other payloads here. I even added a cert util download and execute one as well for Windows shell selection. So I just, it's not just XSS, there's actually a lot of other stuff as well. So you've got local file inclusion, and by the way, when you click explanations and you don't know what it does, or you're not sure what the vulnerability is about, it actually gives you a detailed report or guidance on what this is about, what the vulnerability is, and how does this payload work essentially. What does it do to the application? What does it do to the website? Which is very nice, another feature that has been added. And so all these features I've just combined together, which I thought would be very helpful during a penetration test. And when I do a lot of Hack the Box live streams and I'm like facing vulnerabilities like XSS or local file inclusion, I can just go to my own website and just click copy, paste it in, save my time, right? But when I do live streams, sometimes I kind of slip up on my words in explaining what the vulnerability is, or what the payload does. So I can actually go to my website and just have it on my screen and just read what it does and actually explain it thoroughly and properly, which is nice as well. So it's also good for me when I stream. So that's another benefit. Yeah, I definitely need to get a new chair with the microphone. Another thing that I've added was actually intercept venom, which I also thought was very nice. I don't know, is the quality good on the stream? Can you see this? I'm just curious. I can zoom in, but you can actually see I've added all these other payloads here, platform selections here, for you to select from. And also, check this out. And by the way, I actually need to update this little section here because it's a little bit grayed out on the light mode color. So if I go to dark mode, this is dark mode, which actually looks a lot better in my opinion. But you can see here, you can also select these payloads and it updates on the right side of the screen, tells you what it does, the format's a DLL. You can also select certain like shells here that you can just copy and just use. So if I go like this, so you don't have to do it, just click copy, go to the terminal, and then just paste it in. And that will go ahead and actually run. It will run. And obviously the IP in the port, you need to change that as well. But you can also change the, and by the way, I didn't specify the elbows in the port, of course, because it's not correct, obviously. But it does work. You can even change the output of the file name, which is, again, very nice. It's a nice feature to have as well. So I thought I would have added that. So it's a lot of stuff which I've added. If you go to web injection as well, you've got file upload bypass, what that does, what is it all about. You even got exploit references, so if you click on the exploit DB link at the bottom, explaining what the exploit does or what the vulnerability is, there's actually an exploit for you to actually go try out and inject stuff within the parameter using this exploit script, which is, again, very nice to save time and you can focus your attention on other things like finding other vulnerabilities while that's running in the background or something. So yeah, it's a nice thing that I've done. And by the way, why is the IP address configured to that IP address every time you go to the website? It's because I do a lot of Hack the Box, so I kind of just want to have my website configured there already. But if you go to my website and you use it, just change it. Just change it. It's not a problem. And also the same with IP. So yeah, it's pretty nice. And if I go to the Buy Me Coffee page, as you can see, there is no donations. So it's fine. But I added this little thing here. If you want to support the project, you can donate to this page here. But like I said, it will definitely help. Yeah, I figured we change it to whatever. You can even select, I should probably add more. So you got Linux, Windows. I think there should be another one here, maybe something to do with like ADB maybe. Can we change the port for the payloads? Can we change the port for the payloads? I definitely deserve a coffee for this. Well, it's a Patreon page. Buy Me Coffee is not. It's definitely like a page where people can donate and support. That's only up to you. That's if you want to support this project. But also there's a lot of other stuff which I need to add, which I'm actually curious to adding. Another thing I've also added recently was this one here. So a polyglot file upload, bypassing content filters. So like you trick it into thinking you're uploading a GIF image, and then you actually upload a PHP shell, and you go to that request, and you can actually, go to that URL and actually perform system commands. Right, so I've also added that. Another one I've added, so if I go to intermediate, I've also added XML attacks here. So like, file, etc password root. Again, something which is very helpful when I do hack the box. And another thing when I do hack the box, I also face with this LDAP injection. So I can just copy that again and just put it in. It just saves so much time from actually typing it out all the time. Same with NoSQL, all this stuff. Same with advanced, right? So even template injection, server-side template injection, and which leads to remote code execution. I've even added this one here, which is the most common one to use. So you can actually just copy that, paste it, you're ready to go. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I like it. Yeah, I want to get this tool out there. I want people to use it. I want people to, the reason why I made this tool was because, like I said again, when I was doing a lot of Hack the Box, I had to do a lot of Google researching just to find payloads on GitHub, and and just to search up, on exploit DB references, and go to revshells.com and grab a reverse shell, and it's like all in a list, but it's not explaining what it does. And I'm like, look at all these problems I'm having. Like, I have to go to Google, I have to try and find the GitHub payload, I want to see if anyone has written an RCE for it. I even have to search the version of the exploit. I have to even research what the vulnerability is and is all about, and how does the payload work. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to build a website where it has everything in one. So everything's just all in one. It's like an all-in-one toolkit. Like this offensive button, you change it to defensive. If you go back, you can see there it actually changes it to defensive security. So blue teamers can also use this. And yes, I'm actually fixing the UI still. I'm still changing the UI. This is the exploits with AI9 for real. Yeah, it's a multiple selection framework or multiple selection tool, but on a website. It's basically like, it's like inspired by a payload generator tool. Yeah, but on steroids essentially. But you can see here the UI needs a little bit of an update. This doesn't look so great. I need to fix that. But again, it's also helpful for blue teamers, so they can track to see if anyone does some sort of bash reverse shell or something like that. So I'm not too much in the defensive side of security. I'm more of like penetrate the system type of guy. Like, just find the vulnerability, hack into it. I'm a guy who wants to be like Mr. Robot, like not literally, but as a metaphor, someone who has just aspires to be more of a web security and hacking in general. I think that's kind of what I stand for, really, because it's just fun. It's fun when you find vulnerabilities and you copy, like, let's say server-side template injection code, you paste it in to see if it will work on the website, and then you're in, right? It's just satisfying. I think it's just quite cool. And by the way, with that XSS vulnerability you found on the website, there's also XSS vulnerabilities here. Sorry, not XSS vulnerabilities, XSS payloads that you can actually use to test out those parameters on those websites, which is very nice. Again, you can also use that. I even included Twig. I even included a Twig server-side template injection payload. So Twig is like in relation to PHP, the Twig framework, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's right, yeah? Is it Twig? Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I thought it was cool to add something like this. But yeah, I would appreciate if anyone could give any more suggestions on the tool, or what else I should add, or whatever the case is. I think there's a lot that needs to go into it. But yeah, I guess we could try it out. And I guess, yeah, I even included Mac OS, but that's just primarily Metasploit though. I think that's something. Why is it? Okay, let me just go back to dark mode. Honestly, I need to just stick to dark mode. Dark mode looks cooler, I think, in my own opinion. It's still a very good exploit. Yeah, I mean, this one works very well. And actually, what I want to do is, I actually want to show you this. So look, check this out. So I actually have a vulnerable web server running right now on my network. So it's just about, if I go here, I go to cross-site scripting, DNS lookup, right? And obviously this is a cross-site scripting vulnerability, but within this input field, it's not sanitized. So it is also vulnerable to SQL injection. It's not just XSS. So even though I do XSS here, so check this out. So even though I might call the alert method here, there's still a problem. So I'll show you that in a second. Oh, by the way, why did that not work? Script alert, is that how? No, this is XSS, right? Okay, well, why is that the case? Actually, now I'm curious to understand why is this not working. Actually, let me just type it in the terminal. I don't usually just type out like that. What I want to do is I want to type it out like this. Yeah, okay, so I did type that correctly, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know... Oh, okay, so I guess what you can do is this, really. So you can, like, enter an IP address, right, look for the DNS. But you could just do this. So if I do this... by the way, you don't also have to put the pipeline there. You can also do just semicolon, and it should execute. Okay, maybe not. That's interesting. Why is that the case? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, sorry, it's the other way around. I'm actually thinking of something else. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's correct. So if I just put 192, just some random. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So, sorry, it was actually the other way around. But what I want to show you is not the XSS part. What I actually want to show you is this part here. So if I do ls, or whatever the case is, right, we can actually see that it's vulnerable to command injection. So, well, knowing that, check this out. So now if I run netcat, let's just do it on this port. I always do this port. So check this out. So once I do that, I come back to my tool. Probably let me zoom out a little bit, okay? Come back to my tool, and then let's have a look here. So what's my address? So ifconfig grep inet. Let's just have a look. So 56. Okay. So I enter that address and I enter that port. Brilliant. So check this out. I copy that, and I come back here, and I pasted it. Right. So obviously you can see what it's doing. It's a netcat. Blah blah blah. And by the way, it doesn't always have netcat, right? But it's just the minute I execute it, it should actually run. So the minute I click the button, there we go. We have access to the server via that vulnerability. Again, very nice, which is something which we can work with. And yeah, it's just like been working on. But again, there's a it works. And yes, that XSS thing was the other way around. That was my mistake. But you can, let me go back. Alright, let me have a look again. So check this out, OWASP. Let's just go back to DNS lookup. Let's grab something like file inclusion. Well, we don't need to do that, but what we can do, I mean, we know that it will work if we do file inclusion, because if we do something like this, cat, I mean, I'm pretty sure if we do this, it should work, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there we go. And that should work. Yeah, the other vulnerability you see here, but if you want to try more advanced payloads or intermediate payloads, you can also do that. Again, this one also works. I've also tried this. I'm not sure about this one. I haven't tried this one. Extract data using union-based SQL injection. Again, you can also try this. It's all about trying it. Even if it doesn't work, you can still play around with this or try it. So if I go to, probably not cross-site scripting forgery. I mean, it should work here too, because it's also SQL-based because of PHP. So if I just enter something random, sorry, I forgot to put the thing here. I don't know if this will work. I wasn't sure if that was going to work. Okay, where is the... So injection, SQL, here we go. Extract info, oops. Insert injection, bypass authentication. By the way, I don't think this actually works because this is not connected to a database. So what I'm saying is the reason why this payload that I copied didn't work was because, well, number one, I don't think it's actually connected to a database, meaning it doesn't actually go anywhere. It doesn't even have tables. It's just a website with more like of a input input vulnerabilities like command injection, XSS, just cross-site scripting stuff. Because you know, if I add something like this, I mean, look at that. See? So I haven't actually set up the database. So no PHP MySQL errors. Click OK. Blah blah blah. Failure is always an option, and the situation proves it. Error table of blogs doesn't exist. Blah blah blah. So I think I might need to add a new blog. Let's try that. Oh, what? Note and oh, so I can add this, and you're allowed in the blog entries. Alright, well, let's just do this. Yeah, I don't think it's connected. Yeah, so it's not going to work. But I mean, look at the error at top as well. See, set up the table for it. So Metasploitable tool is not probably the best thing to do if you want to do SQL injections, but you can also take a look at DVWA. This one will work if you do this. Check this out. So if I come on here and I go to, I think this is by default set up already. Yeah, there we go. So now if I do like command execution as well, we should be able to get the same thing, right? Correct. You've entered a invalid IP. Let's try this. I think this is on high. So, okay, so the security level is on high, but what I want to show you is the same philosophy here. Okay, where do I change? No, not that. DVWA security. I just want to test to see if it works still. So if I go to beginner command, again, this should work if I'm not mistaken. Where's my terminal? Let me run that again. Well, if I run that, and I click submit, do we get anything? Yeah, we still, okay, there we go. You can see it still works. That's amazing. Okay, that's good. I was just checking. So that's actually still vulnerable. I don't know what that is. But that's still vulnerable, you can see that. But I should be able. Alright, it's busy scanning. Okay, there we go. And then if I do like, I don't know, will that work? Nice. Nice. I'm just playing around. I'm just seeing if this will work. How come that doesn't work? That's strange. Ah, look at that. So check that out. Alright, let me remove. What in the heck is going on here? Alright, there we go. So now if I do that again, actually I could have just done it like this. I'll just change that to that, and we should have connection again. See? See, that was on the medium one as well. Look at that. Awesome. But again, like, you can just play around with it. Same with file include. File upload. Yes, okay, maybe. And by the way, that's another thing that I need to do. So for the file upload one, so this one here, file upload bypass, I should actually add PHP like pentest monkey for the reverse shell and just add it here as well. So I need to do that. I need to add that. And what I might do as well is add like a PHP reverse shell generator to generate it as well through MSF Venom if you don't want to do it by that. So yeah, well, I think we could just do it with Linux, right? Well, no, we can't. It has to be a Python shell, not a Python shell, PHP shell. So that's what we need to do. So I might need to add, okay, so here's a web section, right? Oh wait, I do, okay, never mind. I actually do, yeah, so I did add it. So you can see a PHP web shell for web applications. So if we actually enter our address and do the same thing and perform that command and run it, we should probably get access when we upload it to the server. So this will work. And by the way, let's actually try and play around with it. Let's just play around with it. Let's just do it. By the way, let me sit on low because I don't feel like going through Burp Suite right now and do that. I just want to show you what this website's all about, my fuNX.com website. But like, check this out. So if I do, okay, no, sorry, that's the same. I don't need to change that. Okay, so so that's called shell.php, encoded. I don't think this is relevant to the PHP payload. I don't think you need to add that. That's for something totally different for Windows. So I should probably change that. Oh, you should add a Perl reverse shell as well. Yeah, maybe I should. I think I might need to do that as well. Yeah. Okay. So now if I actually copy this. Oh, this one says recommended listening. But if I actually copy this, it will work. So set alhost, set blah blah blah. And by the way, I think we should just do this one because it will go ahead and actually run it and set it up for us as well. Yeah. But I don't know. Does it set? So that only sets the payload. Yeah, that's right. So we actually have to go ahead and actually generate the payload before we do anything. So if I do that, by the way, that's actually text. Why is that? That should be PHP. Let's just see if that works. Yeah, so that will go ahead and generate. There we go. I've got shell.php on my desktop. And now we're going to run this to configure it. And then I'm going to go and upload it. So now when I run that, it's going to open up Metasploit. And it's going to run through that and set it up. But yeah, the Perl one I should probably add as well. I should probably add Perl. I think that's another one I need to add. I'm just checking my TikTok just to see what's going on. Alrighty. Cool. Okay, so we've got it running. Okay, so now that's running. So Metasploit is running in the background. So what I'm going to do is obviously go back to that file upload. File upload, where you at? Upload, there we go. So if we upload our shell.php, it's obviously going to work, right? Which is, it's just for this demonstration, really. So it's actually at this directory. So we actually have to go back to directories. So I don't know if it's like that. Yeah, there we go. And we have access to the server. So again, it works. It configures it correctly, like it should, right? So you can type in shell. Now you can get a shell, just like usual. Again, very nice and interactive. So if you actually go back to uploads and cat shell.php, you can see this is just the raw file of the generated emissive venom payload. And if I come back here, go into users, but again, it works, and you can get PHP information. You can even check the functionality of the application to see if there's any vulnerabilities here. But yeah, anyways, that's just something to show you. So what I'm going to do is just run that in the background. I don't want to close the session just yet, but again, it does work. It's very nice. So yeah, I really do like this tool that I've developed. I think it's very handy, and it will help a lot of security researchers in the field. I want people to use it because it will save a lot of time when you do bug bounty programs. I think it will help a lot as well. I think there's a lot more research and add more payloads here to the application. I think it will make it laggy a little bit. I think the Perl the Perl shell is definitely something I should add to it. But what I really do like about this whole application is the fact that when you click the explanations button, it shows you everything to do with it, like what the vulnerability is and how does this payload work. And you can even see references at the bottom and the CVEs. It's amazing. It's great. So there's nothing much to it. And by the way, I also uploaded, you can see, so that's actually the logo. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the logo of Clornex. Clornex.com, payload generator. Very cool. I'm just checking my Discord, see if everything's good. Everything's good, everything's clean. Awesome. Well, that's it for this live stream, really, because I don't know what else to show you here. I mean, it's just like a payload generator, right? It's nothing special, but I guess the only thing is just a solution web-based tool for penetration testers, security researchers, analysts, blue team operators, defenders, etc. So anyone who has the interest of, but like I said before, I don't promote any sort of unethical activity using this tool. This tool is only for educational purposes. That's why I've also added educational mode in the application, because this is what we call with this. If you have the purpose or the intent to find vulnerabilities and a hack the box CTF, that's absolutely fine. The same as like full bug bounty programs, so you can use that. I have nothing wrong with that, but please don't use this for unethical educational option to give you the one references, etc. And thank you so much for tuning in today, everyone who's watching and after watching this video. So it's going to be turned into a video later. Thank you for watching this live stream, and I will see you in the next.
Here is the roadmap to get started in IT in 2025, and it's been 2 years since it hasn't changed. This roadmap is aimed at getting you a job in IT, fast, and on the path to landing your dream job. 6 figures is absolutely within reach, and you'll be surprised at how fast you can get there. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, just hard work on a clear path. And also, no college. You don't need it. Now, similar to our last roadmap, the first 3 phases are for you. They're for everyone. The skills you learn here are foundational to IT, no matter what path you go down. But after that, the world is your oyster. We're talking about one of the most exciting ones, the coolest ones, the ones you see on TV. Cybersecurity. Specifically, how do you become a hacker? Ethically, of course, all the way down. And just so you know, this roadmap is hacker approved. John Hammond looked at it and said, yes.
This is John Hammond.
No. Feel weird. For phase 0, nothing, that's okay. I get it, it feels a bit cart before horse, but let me tell you, you don't need IT skills to get that first job in IT. Now I know, many of these entry-level IT help desk jobs, it seems like they're asking for a lot. Like look at this one, a help desk specialist in Houston, Texas. They want you to have a year experience. They want you to have some strong technical skills already, but really all they care about is excellent customer service skills, trust me. Alright, come here, can I tell you a secret? I got my first IT job without a certification to my name or really any IT skills, but I did have some fast food jobbing and proving that I could be of value to that company. Now the reason I want you to apply for IT help desk or T, it's entry level. Apply for jobs above that. It's not going to hurt anything, an amazing place to be. You'll learn so much and you're not going to be there for very long. Unless you want to be. I had fun going to work and I really didn't want to leave. So right now, if you want to get started at Starbucks, but you better believe on that resume I put on there, I fix their printer all the time. I was the guy they would go to. Chuck, the printer's broken again. I got you guys. Also on my resume, I was very upfront about what I was working towards, what I was studying. We'll talk about it before we king. It's what you learn on that resume to make your LinkedIn profile look awesome. Start applying for jobs right now. Right after this video. Seriously, it'll take you a couple hours. And maintain a habit of regularly applying for jobs until you get that job. And guess what? It's okay if you don't get it. It's okay if you go on an interview and you fail. You're through all these different jobs and seeing the descriptions and what they're looking for is start networking. The social kind. Acquaint into discourse and start talking to people who are like you. The old adage is true. It's not what you know, it's I know phase because it's awesome. Don't skip this if you're serious. So if you're in a place right now to where you can get a job and start working in IT, if that's really what you... Sorry. Phase 1 now. I don't want you to move on until you've applied for at least 2 jobs. Also, leave a comment below if you get a job. Oh, I'd be so excited to hear that. And how encouraging will that be for other people? Just do... It's changed a little bit, but it's still going to be about foundations, developing those core IT skills. Now, I'm a big believer in IT certifications. Recommend for foundations is the CompTIA A+. This essentially is the help desk certification that's going to help you land that first job. Can you skip it? We'll talk about that here in a second, but here's what you're going to learn. And actually, there's a new one they just came out with, launching spring 2025, exciting. But the A+ is an IT buffet. The first get started in IT, you may not know which path you want to go down, and there are a billion paths. The A+ gives you a chance to delicious, and you'll never know. It's a lot of information contained in 2 exams, each costing you $250 for the 12. This is a lot, and that was the case for me. I even failed one exam and had to retake it, paying more money. That hurt. So it begs the question, is this worth it? Do you actually need some money? Yeah, you can. But here's the problem. How are you going to prove that knowledge? How are you going to prove that to the hiring manager? That's what the A+ is for. CompTIA has done all the marketing for you. They tell people, hey, if someone has this cert+, you need the knowledge. Certification, it's optional, but it'll help you get that foot in the door and land that first job. Now, how do you get the A+? Where do you learn this stuff from? There are free and paid options. For free, you can't beat Professor Messer. He has an entire A+ course on YouTube. You can watch it right now. Plug. It's gonna be kind of different. You'll see. Just keep in mind, it is still in the building phase, and part of this new thing, my academy, there'll be an entire CompTIA A+ course, a training series that I'm pouring my blood, sweat, and coffee into. It's something that I wish would have been around when I first started my IT career and started learning. So if you like this, currently $12 a month, and every penny is going towards making this thing awesome. And phase 1 is to get your A+, or at least equivalent knowledge, but we're not quite compared to 2023. And by weird, I mean awesome. Now this is optional because I don't want you to be overwhelmed. But while you're studying for your A+, I want you to start learning Linux. And not just Linux, I want you to start learning coding as well, specifically either Python or Go. Python's the thing. Now again, getting the A+ is still your main focus, but I want you to start becoming familiar with Linux a day a week, Saturdays. You'll spend 30 minutes or each, 2 hours each. I don't really care what you do as long as you do something. Now where do you free Linux for Hackers course? You can both free on YouTube, by the way. Now, why Linux and coding? Well, you're gonna see this everywhere, at every step of your journey. Start learning it now. And with phase 1 yet, you thought we're not. Also in phase 1, I want you to start building out your home lab. This is where you get a chance to put into practice everything you're learning. Don't just learn the theory, take notes, and memorize things. No, do the things. For example, when you're learning about VirtualBox and set up a virtual machine, install Ubuntu as part of your Linux practice. When you're learning about networks, install a router. Most, if not all, these things can be done for free, and resume building moments. Because you know what else you're going to be doing in phase 1? You're going to be applying for jobs. If you don't already have one, keep applying a server into your home. Put on your resume a project that you deployed a DNS server into your house. That's cool. That's real tech. That's real IT. Let me tell you, if you have a drive, man, when I saw resumes where people were putting their own projects in their house on their resume, I love hiring those types of people. That means they are passionate about this, even when learning and growing. That's what employers want, and that's surprisingly hard. Now, I know if all you can manage is the A+ during this time, that's fine. You can do these in order. Finish your A+, then do some Linux and Python, implement some home lab ideas. It's up to you, or you can do it all within 1 week. Now, to fully graduate from phase 1, I'm estimating it'll take you roughly your schedule, how much time you have, but if you work hard, you can do it. But 2 to 3 months, if you maintain a pretty consistent study schedule, should be good. Phase 2 is all about dipping your toes in the security water. It's kind of a cool brand name, Dibs. The focal point of this phase is gaining the Security Plus from CompTIA. Yes, another IT certification, but this thing looks really, really good on your resume. Similar to the A+, the Security Plus will teach you a ton of information, but here, it's security focused. Now you might be thinking, Chuck, I'm not going into hacking. I don't want to be a security expert. Why do I have to learn this? Listen, security will be part of every IT role you have. Security, but we're giving you enough knowledge and enough credentials to find and land an amazing job. Now why Security Plus? Why another certification? This sucker's gonna do 2 things for you. Knowledge. There's a ton of it. This is a security buffet. And similar to the A+, you're gonna find out about roles and paths within just cybersecurity that you didn't know existed. It's a big world. Number 2, this is definitely this. In fact, this is one of the most popular certs for people who want to work for the government in any capacity, because it satisfies the DoD 8570 directive, which lays out the minimum requirements for IT and cybersecurity roles. The Security Plus is the easiest way to check that box. You'll find that most roles just want you to have it by default. Currently, the Security Plus will cost you $404, and that's plus without your resume. Now, where can you study for the Security Plus? Again, free and paid options. Free, Professor Messer coming in. He has an entire Security Plus course for free on YouTube. For a paid option, I do recommend IT Pro. And no, they're not sponsoring this video, I just really do like them. And full disclosure, the link below will be an affiliate link, meaning that when you sign up, you don't pay any more, but I do get a small kickback for telling you about them. Now, while the focal point of phase 2 is Security Plus, there's going to be more Linux. Linux becomes very, very important in this phase. And because we're in the security phase, let's have you do some Linux that's security focused. There's a free site called Over the Wire. This place is amazing, and they have a path called Bandit, which when you go through it will teach you a ton of Linux basics. It's amazing, very, very fun. Check it out. Also in this phase, the basics. But then I want you to challenge yourself to build some kind of thing. Resume building moment. One idea is to build a simple network scanner. Scan your network and look for open ports using Python. And again, similar to phase 1, don't stress about the Python and Linux side of things. Focus on Security Plus. Get that on your resume. But if you can, if it doesn't overwhelm you, 1 to 2 hours a week. More if you're crazy. The more Linux and Python you learn, the better. It's going to be awesome stuff. What you're learning in the Security Lab. Automate some things with Linux and Python. Get on YouTube and look for fun projects. I do all kinds of stuff in the home lab. Just do something and add it to your resume. And finally, keep applying for stinking jobs if you don't already have one. And always keep that resume up to date. This phase should Chuck, you're being very vague about how much Linux and Python. I don't want to overwhelm you. Also, that would make this video way too long. Point and do this project. At this point, you should know this much Python. If you'd like to see that, let me know. That may be a video I make in the future. So phase 2, 2 to 3 months, which of course will be determined by how much time you have and other variables. It's time for a coffee break. And this coffee break and this video is sponsored by I've been using Bamboo Labs forever. They're one of the first 3D printers I ever bought. And the reason I'm excited is because they are going to help you with your resume building moments. The chance for you to shine and show off your home labs. I got into 3D printing about maybe 2-3 years ago, and I bought this 3D printer. I hated it. It took me forever to set up, almost pulled out my beard. Thank goodness I didn't. And the printing labs. I bought this one. I don't think I worked for 2 weeks. I would just stand there and watch things print. Bamboo Labs is excited about bought a 3D printer for his kids. They set it up and just started printing everything. In fact, they bought this one here, the Bamboo Labs A1 combo. This thing is ridiculous. Super fast, easy to set up. My team could set it up, and they're not the most technical people. They're working on it. And the deal on this thing, at the time of this video, is $489 for the printer and then this AMS Lite. What that means is that you can do multicolor prints. You can design your model, slice it with a bunch of colors, and it'll just change it out for you. Now back to home lab stuff, you can make your home lab that much more great, make your resume building moments a bit prettier, a bit more functional with a 3D. All my stuff, my SSDs and everything, printed that sucker. And then me and my team 3D printed a few more things just to give you some making your own, printing your own, that's way cooler. Fast. We legit use these every day. And as you're building out your home lab, you'll probably end up having a rack. They have this thing called alter it for your specific printer, which you used to have to do. Thanks again to Bamboo Labs for sponsoring this video. If you want this A1 combo, check out my link below. And now back to just know that in phase 1 and phase 2, you should also keep rubbing shoulders. Like next job. Let's talk about phase 3. It's all enough to know it. And when you get into it, you'll find out that you love to know it. Biased, network chuck. I mean, you saw it coming, right? But you don't want to skip this. It's like eating your vegetables, except these vegetables are delicious. Now with networking, similar to our other phases, we're going to focus on a certification. Here we actually have a covered networking certification is the Cisco CCNA. This sucker right here is probably one of the best certifications you can get and put on your resume, period. This trumps them all at this. But there is another option I want to popular in networking certification. Now why would you choose one over the other? Well, Cisco, it's harder. It's going to take the CCNA is more valuable. Probably because it's practical, is because it's Cisco focused. With the certification, you're going to learn networking inside and out, but you're also going to be learning how to use Cisco products, their CLI. So this is a no-brainer if you're going to go down the network engineering path or network admin path. But if you're going somewhere else, comes in. It's vendor neutral, so you're not focusing on any one vendor. And you'll still pick up networking knowledge, learning what a router is, a switch, subnetting. They'll both look great on your resume, CCNA, because Cisco did it for a long time. Let's talk about pricing. The Network Plus will cost you $369. It is one better deal, even though it's harder. Now, where do you go to learn CompTIA certifications? Professor Messer, coming in clutch, has a free Network Plus course on YouTube. For paid, IT Pro has a pretty good Network Plus. There is a free and paid option, and he has an entire course, CCNA, for free, which is content. And Jeremy's a friend of mine he's excited about. It's going to be different. Well, I'm not building it alone, and I'll first here. I've partnered with the guy who taught me networking. It's where I learned everything I know. He's the guy who got me so excited about IT. Hey, his name is Jeremy Chara. He created the most amazing CCNA course, the best one he's ever made, on our academy. So similar to the A+, go there right now and become part of this as we're building it. But please keep in mind, disclaimer, it's not check it out and become part of what we're doing. It is going to be something different. That's all I can tell you now. So pick your poison, CCNA or Network Plus, and then you probably saw this coming, more Python and more Linux. And in the networking phase, try to make your Linux and Python study be networking focused. A big part of the Cisco CCNA is network automation, which largely involves doing things with Python, logging into routers and switches and automating things they can do. It's very fun. Set aside 2 to 3 hours a week, programming in Python focus, which here is networking. Again, you already are. In phase 1, replacing your router with pfSense as an option. In this phase, I want to challenge you to actually do this. This is your homework. Replace your home network with another network. This could be buying old Cisco stuff off eBay. This could be putting a pfSense router in, installing Unify. And then I want you to do things like monitor your network, monitor your internet quality, be really nerdy about applying for jobs. And then of course, it depends on your certification choice. Did you choose CCNA? Did you choose Network Plus? CCNA will obviously take longer because it is harder. I would estimate 2 to 4 months to complete phase 3, leaning more on the 4-month range if we're talking about CCNA. This is a very aggressive time to extend 3 day. Now, if you get to phase 3 and you're done, you're amazing. You've laid the most incredible IT foundation, and from here, you're a rock star. But before you go anywhere else, phase to make sure you're where you need to be. And that's phase 3.5. What? Yeah, no, track with me here. We're gonna come down here, 3.5. This phase by this point. Because if you've gone and a job, and don't beat yourself down if you haven't gotten a job yet, that's fine. I just wouldn't go any further. I would put learning, and keep adding to your home lab. Keep doing labs and projects. Keep adding to your resume, keep applying for jobs, keep going to interviews, practice, keep network to phase 3.5. You can apply for many, many types of jobs. The CCNA, you look really in Linux and you've been adding to your resume with projects, you look really good. Entry level, beginner. Now after phase 3.5, figured out what you like or what you want to be. You may have fallen in love with security. Maybe networking was your calling. System administration. You learn some things about cloud, and cloud sounds awesome. Go do that. These are all different paths that'll have different requirements I'm going with. Right now I'm gonna cover one path that is special to me because I'm going down it right now, and that's the hacking path. Ethical hacking, pen testing, it has many names. It's the flashy stuff you always hear about. It is very cool. It's not the only path in cybersecurity, it's just getting a prize here. And actually 3 different certs. I would start out with a junior level cert. A couple I love are the EJPT or the Pen Test Plus. They're easier, more approachable, and it'll dip your toe into what it means to be an ethical hacker. Protect it, defend it. Now you're having to kind of reverse their $49, including training for 3 months through INE, because they run and operate the EJPT. And I believe you get 2 attempts, which is kind of awesome. And if I had to choose between the Pen Test Plus and EJPT, I'd probably choose the EJPT. The Pen Test Plus will be $381, not including training, resume. That will look good. Now, I'm gonna say this. There's only one hacking cert I'm actually make people go, oh, they know what they're talking about. Or at least they're starting to. The next one I would get, the next phase of your journey would be the CPTS, or the Certified Penetration Testing Specialist from Hack the Box. This is the one I'm working on right now. The CPTS is interesting because you do have to go through the Hack the Box Academy modules to complete it. That's what they tell you. I feel like, what is Hack the Box? Oh, if you want to become a hacker, this is the place you want to be. Before they had their academy and their own certification, they were the place to go to practice hacking. They would create boxes that you can literally hack. It's very certification to go along with it. I'm down. I've been a fan for a very long time. I was trying to find the pricing. There it is, $490. And I don't think that includes training. Let me just find out. I think that's just for the voucher. Now the CPTS is fairly new, so it's not quite resume gold. And that's the OSCP. Now the OSCP is on my list to get, but I'm going with the CPTS first because it's a bit easier, and I want to ease my way up to it. But for a long time, the OSCP has been the gold standard. They do have their own official training course called the Pen 200, and they have an exam bundle that'll cost you roughly $1,600. That includes the course, 90 days of lab access, and 1 exam attempt, which is extremely practical, along with the CPTS and EJBT, but I think the OSCP is probably the most practical, if not the most difficult. Now at this phase, you're going to be using lots of Linux, and potentially you'll probably need a lot of these to be able to take the exam. What's interesting though is the OSCP has recently allowed you to use ChatGPT during hackers are going to have AI right there. Now this is just the very beginning, I think, phase, the hacking phase. If you're confident you want to go down that, then I would also try to sprinkle in some more hacking CTFs or capture the flag events throughout your learning journey. There's an amazing free CTF software out there called Pico CTF, very beginner friendly, and you can that are pertinent to the phase you're at. So you'll for while people need to capture a flag, you have to exploit. It's kind of funny. It's one of those words where you have to put emphasis. So here we are, the map. Going through these phases, and at every step, be applying for a job. Never wait to start earning experience. This roadmap, sequentially, linearly. I mean, initially you'll want to follow it just so, because as a beginner, you probably don't know much, but you may not have a good handle on the basics and the foundations, but there are points where you know all this stuff. You've been playing with Linux and Python, applying for jobs, and move on to another phase. Maybe you feel like you already know enough security, you don't need a certification, are there to make your resume look better. You don't need it to gain the knowledge, but you do need it to prove the knowledge. In most cases. But it's up to you whether or not you want to skip any phase. Just know that, let's say you skip phases 1 and 2, and you just go straight to CCNA. When you get your CCNA, no one cares if you have your A+ or your Network Plus, or at least have passing knowledge. Also keep in mind that when you get a job, which again is the goal of every single step, when you get for a job that you think you'll never get, like a SOC analyst job, or a job in a NOC, and you're able to skip that, they may want you to jump straight to the CCNA CyberOps, which is a certification we didn't talk about. But my point is that just change, adapt to your circumstances and the opportunities that are presented to you. Don't feel like you have to follow this just so. And when you get a chance to take a shortcut, take it. Now, I don't mean a shortcut to knowledge. Always spend the time to learn something. Would you do that? What about college, university? I didn't mention any of this here. Are degrees worth it? Yes, big fan of doing it this way. I don't have a degree. I didn't need one, but you might need one or indoors. And keep this in mind, if you're going for an IT degree, many of these degrees, they don't often include that in your career. My Security Plus all the time. So my advice, if you want that degree, find a degree program. Of many of their IT degrees is CCNA, A+, AWS certifications for cloud. It's like part of their final exam for the networking section of classes. You have to come out a rock star. Yes, they want a degree, that's what I recommend.
All right, so Network Chuck sent me his roadmap, little 2025. He's saying, look, you should be studying Linux and Python early in the journey and then keep doing it all the way throughout. Not gonna lie, I completely Python, but at least scripting in a language like Python or writing code or programming and automating be solidified. And so definitely worth starting as early as you can and still doing it all throughout. Those are skills that give you superpowers, not gonna lie. And then Chuck goes into a lot about networking, Net Plus versus CCNA, or if it is needed at all. I don't know at all. Maybe I'm out of the loop. I could a ton of in-depth, very granular networking insight and experience. I think from the hacking or cybersecurity sense, if you know, hey, what the heck IP addresses are, what a general site is enough. You don't need to be built a whole-blown network. Next is on the hacking path, some of the certifications with EJPT, Pentest Plus, maybe CPTS, and OSCP. This is just John speaking. I don't know about EJPT these days. I'd suggest, look, if that's what you want to go for it. If you want some intermediary steps, CPTS or any others that you're interested in can still be stepping stones, but make sure you've got this is your target. The last one is spicy. I kind of agree with Chuck, not gonna lie. I think it is optional. It is not needed in the absolute strict sense of the words, but it's subjective. It's super walk and run just fine without a college degree or anything to kind of get your foot in the door that will employ you, but it is an extra notch on your belt, so there's nothing really wrong with that. If you go for college, maybe that helps get things up and running at the start, but it's optional %.
So let me end cap this. It's been a very long video, but times have changed, and times are changing rapidly right now. What's going to happen with AI? Where are our jobs going to go? I don't know. No one knows. We can all guess, but what we do know is roadmap, foundational skills, and people. And if they aren't, hey, you learn something anyway. And I know this roadmap ended up being very specific to hacking. What other roadmaps do you want to see? Cloud engineer, network engineer, more blue team? Comment below. That's all I got. This is the first video of 2025. I hope you're doing well. I'll catch you guys next time.
I'm looking for someone that has passion. Someone that has passion can almost tackle anything, right?
Does your guess that you're not getting a lot of responses to this resume?
But if they can tell that story in some way on that resume, that's going to catch my eye.
They didn't have the experience, but they used that project to really align themselves with the position better than people that had experience, believe it or not.
So I'm looking for, what do you do alone?
IT can be harder if you don't have experience, which, by the way, we're going to deal with that later. Stay tuned. So in this video, we're doing two things. First, I'm going to help you craft the perfect resume. The kind of resume, we're going to build out your very own resume website. The thing that will set you apart from the crowd, that will make people want to hire you. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to help you build your resume website from the ground up. I even built this amazing template that's free to use. And thanks to our sponsor, Hostinger, it's going to be crazy easy to set up. We'll do that here in a bit. But it's these two things, a good resume and a solid web, some help. I interviewed 4 experts and their advice is, engineer, well, if you haven't, you're going to get to know him in this video because part of our job is to get him ready for his job. You're going to help me put together a junior report. Amazing. To help him get that job. We'll talk more about him later. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Do I actually need a website? Isn't a resume good enough? It's been good enough for a long time, right? Before there even were websites. Well, it used to be, but not anymore.
Though the resume piece is just to get over that HR hurdle and get filtered out to get to the tech interview.
It can't be like, hey, I love these things. It's more like list all the great things I've done in my life or what I was responsible for. A website can help offset that. And in many ways, I think a website has replaced a cover letter.
Now, tell a story of you to show someone what you're capable of, the different things about you that make you, you, and why you would be amazing at that job. And by the way, they only spend about 8 to 10 seconds looking at your resume.
All right, I got 8 seconds. Can I scan this and understand what they're doing, and then I'll go back? lowered on the stack of one by recruiters.
Your story, which matters a lot, and you'll find that out here. Again, I partner website, portfolio, whatever you want to call it, possible. And I will show you how to use the custom WordPress template I had designed. It's in the link below, so we're gonna actually do that right now. And by the way, before we start, even having a website and your own domain name is huge, like massive. You already get a ton of cool points just for having it.
So having a domain name, your own domain name, is a big one. If I know a guy get a DMARC toolbox while I'm checking on his resume and I see he can
You build a website right now. Let's do it. It'll be super quick. And if you already have a website and you just want some tips on how to make it better, go ahead and skip forward. I've got timestamps below, but let's go ahead and build this right now. I'm gonna navigate out to hostinger.com. Once you're at hosting, to get you a sip of coffee, you'll be up and running in no time. Let's do this. And here we are, our all-in-one web hosting. It already costs almost nothing. Endless features, unmetered traffic, 100 websites if you need that. And the big ones, free SSL, free domain, free email. That's gonna make you look amazing on your resume. And of course, it's optimized for WordPress. Let's go ahead and select the sucker. And we do save the, so no worries there. Now if we scroll down just a bit, we can see where we can put the coupon code in. Have a coupon code? Yes, I do. Go ahead and click that. And put in Network Chuck. Oh, cheaper. And then go ahead and click on Submit. Go. Hello. Click on Start Now. Now we're IT people. We don't need building a
Meet Ann.com. She has her information like email ID, from www like email ID, add faster and had an email which stated.com and her shoppingcart.com account credentials. This didn't seem fishy to her at little did she realize the danger she eventually opened. And shopping person who carried this attack? Indeed, she could have, with the help of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity involves techniques that help in securing various digital components, digital access, depending on the kind of network you. So, let's take a look at the various cyber attacks that Anne could have been exposed to. One of the most common types of cyber, and certain malicious, is a phishing attack. Hacker usually sends fraudulent. This is done to install malware and login credentials. Here, the hacker gains access to the information path, the communication line between. This commonly happens with unsecured Wi-Fi networks, and also through malware. Password attack is one word could have been cracked by equal combinations. To prevent future cyber attacks, Anne sought to implement a few cybersecurity practices. First, a virtual wall between Anne's computer and the internet. Firewalls filter the incoming and outgoing traffic from your device to safeguard hardware reinforcements. Secondly, Anne implemented honeypots. Just like how flowers attract bees, dummy computer systems, called honeypots, are used to attract attackers. In addition to these, she also did software and started a stores, but also to public and private organizations. The cyber attacks carried out in such places are more deadly, and they result in colossal losses. Motives of such attacks are many. Let's have a look at a few of the cyber attacks that companies are subjected to. Face the Advanced Persistent Threat, APT. In this form of attack, hackers continuously gain confidential information. Companies also witness the denial of service attack, the distributed denial of service, DDoS attack, when multiple systems are used to launch the attack. When a hacker manipulates a standard SQL query in a database driven. By doing so, hackers can view, edit, and delete tables from databases. Challenge for organizations with several networks and servers to ensure complete security. Cybersecurity professionals, the company's network, if hacking to be explored. Such professionals try to but only to identify those vulnerabilities and resolve them. If you are looking to design robust security, plays a crucial role in the information that takes over the client's IP address. A. DDoS attack. B. D. Password attack. Give it a thought and leave your answers in the comments section below. 3 lucky winners will receive Amazon gift vouchers. Organizations are going to need cybersecurity professionals who can is lucrative. So, what are you waiting for? Get certified with Simply.
We bring you the top 10 computer hacks of all time. Let's see. In 2007, Estonia, the European country, faced a series of cyber attacks that lasted for weeks. This happened when the Estonian government decided to move the bronze soldier located on the city's down Estonian banks' online services, media outlets, broadcasters, and government bodies. Automated DDoS attacks, Wikipedia page as well. Although there is no confirmation, Russia is believed to be behind. Let's now move on to the next attack. On December 23, 2015, several parts of Ukraine witnessed a power outage attack. Ukraine were compromised. It is said that 30 substations were switched off and about 230,000 people were left in the dark for about 1 to 6 hours. US investigators believed that Russia-based hackers were responsible for this. Experts have warned that other countries could also be vulnerable to such attacks. Let's see what we have at number 8. In the year 1999, a cyber attack caused a 21-day shutdown of NASA computer and the then 15-year-old Jonathan James computers and installed more than 1,000 government emails, including the ones containing usernames and passwords. This helped computers that support the leaks. He was the first person to carry out a computer hack against the American Space Agency. Let's now move on to the next attack. In late November 2014, there was a leak of confidential data from the film studio of Sony Pictures. Info named Guardians of Peace. So what did the hackers want? The Kim Jong-un. Sony then decided to cancel the film's theatrical release due to the threats at cinemas screening the movie. It after evaluations in a way related to the same. Moving on to our number 6. In December 2065. This happened from one of its systems over 18 months by an unknown number of intruders. It was one of the first, largest ever cyber attacks involving the loss of personal data. As a result, banks in the affected region, a group of hackers did this, albeit the place where the TJX heist was believed to have originated. Reports said that the TJX data breach occurred because of weak web encryption at 2 of our top 5. Let us see what we have at number 5. Computer worm Stuxnet attacks. It aimed at destructing the equipment, the computer, damaging Iran's nuclear and computers in Tehran. It did Siemens industrial control systems, silently sabotaging Iran's nuclear facilities. It was one of the first discovered malware that damaged the centrifuges of the Iranian reactors. This is believed to be a cyber weapon created by the US, evidence or acceptance by either of the countries for the same. Moving on to number 4, the deadliest cyber attacks. 56 million payment cards were compromised. A team. Criminals were believed to have used a third-party vendor's username, and the attackers were then able to deploy custom-built malware on its self-checkout system. As you might be aware, the PlayStation gaming system is one of Sony's most popular products. Unfortunately, in April 2011, Sony executives witnessed abnormal compromise of approximately 77 million PlayStation users' accounts and prevented users of PlayStation 3 and this forced Sony to turn off. Sony confirmed that personally identified had been exposed. Was daily announcements concerning the system outage, $170 million, and to cover the expenses of caring for the consumers that had been affected. Let's now move in one of the WannaCry ransomware attack caused by the WannaCry crypto worm. The victims were the users that used the unsupported version security update. This did not take place through phishing like other attacks, but through an exposed vulnerable SMB port. The attack originated in Asia and then eventually spread across the globe. In a day, more than 200,000 computers were infected by crypto worm, locked the users out of the targeted systems, and encrypted their data. The users were asked for a ransom of $300 to $600, which had to be paid via Bitcoin in exchange and government of millions to billions of dollars. In a matter of few days, the emergency patches released by Microsoft, which prevented the infected computers from spreading the crypto worm. Security. The Melissa virus, a masked Word and Outlook-based systems, and created considerable network emails. The email would look. The recipient opens the attachment software. A virus was released on their computers. This would then mass mail itself to the first 50 people in the victim's contact list and then disable multiple safeguard features on Microsoft Word and Microsoft. David L. Smith released the virus. The virus caused nearly 80 million worth of damages. It did not steal data or money. It were disrupted worldwide. Agencies were internet traffic in some locations with our list. If you're aware of any other great interesting.
In an office one day, Quinn, who was following his daily routine, working on his computer, but in the background, without his knowledge, they on Quinn's computer. Through a vulnerability, the hacker is able to access those files and hack his computer. So, what can happen due to the company secrets, leakage of information, maybe industrial espionage, which become company secrets and trying to gain access to their data? Or they could hold the companies who can further dilute the information or misuse that information for the criminal activities. Anything is possible. So, it's a very bad scenario if a hacker gets access. First one, what is and so the advantages of cybersecurity as example, we just talk about an individual and his files being accessed. What if company server got compromised or their web applications got compromised and their databases, which will result in old environment concentrating more on their work than worrying about cyber criminals. It would inspire customer confidence where if I as an organization I'm going certain regulations as an organization. It would help them from external threats and would also be holding some amount of data. The organization, the data that my organization owns, but what I held, essentially what we want to achieve out of here is allow all these factors to, and what would be the advantages of implementing cybersecurity. Now, first set of cybersecurity that we deal with A, not to be confused with different pillars where we want our data to remain confident, available at all points in time. So let's talk about asserts that the information and functions can be accessed. And if you password to prevent other users, access remains confidential. It is only shared where the trustworthiness changed. For example, you have a spreadsheet which has a lot of information about users. That data is not modified by any unauthorized user. So you're going to verify that the information is correct, who's unauthorized. The availability part ensures that this data is made available to all authorized users when and where they want it, right? The principles of availability assert that in systems, functions, and data must be available on demand according to agreed upon parameters would come in. For example, when we log on to Gmail online, at no point in time or very few times has it ever occurred that you've gone. In fact, if the website doesn't open, we figure out the internet is not working, right? But Gmail as a service is always made available. Now, when we talk about threats to CIA parameters, cybercrime that would involve the usage of any computing device which would result as a security incident at the victim's end. Criminal money out of your bank accounts or would try to con you to your identity to damage or disable them, spread malware, steal secret information, etc. So this talks about the motivation part of cybercrimes. What would be the activity, right? 2017, the ransom that they demanded for that data to be decrypted, but were lost. So let's talk about types of cybercrime. The first type is a computer-assisted crime, where the computers are used for frauds or online bank hijacking, where hackers hack into a bank and digitally steal money from a bank. Now, this could have happened without the help of computers as well, but here, computer assisted the crime. Second part is where the computer itself was a target of a crime. For example, a denial of service and other confidential information. The third is a computer which is incidental to the crime. So, here, the computer was used as a temporary measure to store some data such as child pornography or some other data which made the computer incidental to the crime. Alright, let's look at a business scenario for cybersecurity. There is this company called Stark Industries that their systems have either crashed or have started hanging. So the IT security team comes in and they have identified that an employee has clicked on a suspicious link or via an email through social media like Facebook, or somebody sending out a Skype chat and attachments within Skype, trying to redirect the hosted by the hacker.
Hello and welcome to another CompTIA Security Plus practice exam video,
or some
where in this video I'm going to go over
them or the content within these files will be behaving the way they have been programmed to behave. In this scenario, it's hanged on all machines until further orders. Now this is a future attacks from coming in, those sites from where the attack may have happened. The question 2 in this scenario, a computer incidental to the crimes. So please post your answers in the comment sections below and we'll respond back to you about your answers. Now let's go a little bit further and see what would motivate. The first and foremost motive is disrupting business continuity. Others would be looking at data theft or information theft. If I'm able to access your computer and steal some data that has some value to you and sell it or make it public value. For example, a company's infrastructure crashes, the services are no longer start fearing an attack by cyber criminals, and it leads to chaos. Financial loss to the target, which is very obvious. If I do a denial of service attack or if I make a service unavailable from an organization, what is going to happen to making money out of it and thus going to suffer a financial loss. Achieving states' military objectives, one country spying on another country, the activities or any other activities that can harm the original country. Demanding ransom, hackers can encrypt your data and then demand a ransom from you in lieu of decrypting the data again. Social media platforms, making false statements, thus damaging the reputation. Religious fanatics, promoting whatever cultures that they want to promote, trying to invest a script kiddie where people are trying to learn about hacking and for making a profit out of it. So, which brings us to the next topic, where what kind of attacks are also possible on a particular organization as far as motives are concerned. So, the basic types, let's start off with the black hat hacker, destructive activities. These are your criminal hackers who try to trying to hack a victim organization. The grey hats are individuals who work black hat hackers, while on the other hand, they would also try to work as a security analyst and try to enhance the security posture of an organization for a remuneration. Third one, which is ourselves at hacker. The intent is different. They're going to use them for detect any flaws and try to plug out those flaws so that those flaws to bring down critical infrastructure for a cause and on any people or any organization or a group of people. For example, anonymous or these kind of organized hackers, they have a political cause or hacking critical infrastructure of organizations, bringing it down,